the stillness of the night, where shadows stretch like fingers across the ground, there exists a peculiar structure known only as the Doorless House of Horrors. Nestled deep within a thicket of gnarled trees, this house stands as a testament to both fear and fascination. Its wooden frame, weathered and worn, seems to whisper secrets of those who dared to enter. Imagine, if you will, the chilling air that surrounds this place. The absence of doors creates an unsettling atmosphere, as if the house itself is a portal to an unknown realm. No barriers exist to protect the outside world from the horrors within. Each window, shattered and broken, serves as a grim reminder of the chaos that once unfolded inside. The legend of the Doorless House is steeped in mystery. It is said that long ago, a family lived within its walls. They were a normal family, or so they appeared, but whispers around the village told a different story. They spoke of strange noises that echoed through the night, of shadows darting just beyond the corners of vision. Neighbors would hear laughter, but it was the kind of laughter that sent chills racing down one's spine. One fateful evening, the family vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but their possessions. The townsfolk, fueled by a mix of curiosity and dread, ventured to the house, only to find it empty, abandoned, and eerily quiet. Yet, from that day forward, the house would not remain silent. Reports began to surface. People claimed to feel an inexplicable pull towards the house, a magnetic force urging them to step inside. Those who did were forever changed, returning to the village with hollow eyes and trembling hands. Their accounts were fragmented, often incoherent, but one detail remained consistent: the feeling of being watched, as if unseen eyes scrutinized their every move. As time passed, the legend grew. The Doorless House became the stuff of nightmares, a grim tale told around campfires to frighten children into obedience. Yet, there were always those brave enough, or foolish enough, to test their courage against the house's malevolent reputation. The first of these was a group of teenagers, seeking thrills and proof of their bravery. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they approached the house one moonless night. The air was thick with tension as they crossed the threshold. They felt the chill seep into their bones, an unwelcome visitor that promised discomfort. Inside, the house seemed to breathe. The walls creaked as if they were alive, and the floorboards groaned under their weight. Each step deeper into the house felt like a descent into madness. They wandered through rooms filled with dust and decay, remnants of the life that once thrived there. Old photographs, yellowed with age, lined the walls. Faces stared out at them with hollow eyes, as if silently warning them to leave. In one room, they found a child's toy, a dusty teddy bear, with a stitched smile that seemed far too wide. It lay forgotten in a corner, yet its presence felt heavy, as if it held the weight of the family's sorrow. One of the teenagers, feeling emboldened, picked it up, only to feel a shiver race down their spine. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from upstairs, causing them to jump. It was as if the house itself was responding to their intrusion. Heartbeats quickened, and the group exchanged fearful glances. They were not alone. They felt it then, a presence lurking just beyond their sight, waiting, watching. Summoning their courage, they decided to investigate the source of the noise. As they climbed the staircase, the air grew colder, and the shadows deepened. Each creak of the steps seemed to taunt them, a reminder of their foolishness. At the top, they found a hallway lined with doors, except these doors were all removed, leaving only empty frames that loomed like sentinels guarding the unknown. The sight was enough to make their skin crawl. It was a corridor of despair, each empty space echoing the absence of safety. There was no way to close off the horrors that lay beyond. One by one, they peeked into the rooms, each revealing glimpses of the past. In one room, they discovered a mirror, cracked and tarnished, reflecting their frightened faces. But in the reflection, they saw something else, a shadow flickering behind them. They spun around, but there was nothing there, just the oppressive silence of the house. Panic began to seize them. They turned to leave, but the house seemed to shift around them. The walls pulsated, and the air thickened. Voices began to whisper unintelligible murmurs that clawed at their sanity. It was as if the house was alive, feeding off their fear, drawing them deeper into its grasp. Desperate to escape, they raced down the hallway, only to find the stairs had vanished, replaced by sheer walls. The house had claimed them. Trapped within its clutches, they could feel the weight of despair settle over them like a heavy fog. Outside, the villagers noticed the absence of the teenagers. Concern turned to panic as hours passed without a word. A small group of brave souls ventured to the doorless house, calling out for the missing friends. Their voices echoed against the wooden walls, swallowed by the darkness. Inside, the teenagers huddled together, clinging to each other for comfort. They whispered in hushed tones, recounting their experiences, the sense of being watched growing stronger. It was then they heard it, a soft, mocking laughter, echoing through the halls. The laughter seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, growing louder, more menacing. It was a sound that chilled their blood, an affirmation of their worst fears. They felt the walls closing in, the house tightening its grip around them. Finally, in a moment of sheer desperation, they found a window, a fragile hope shining through the darkness. They pushed against the frame, but it wouldn't budge. It was as if the house was determined to keep them inside, to claim them as part of its haunting legacy. Outside, the villagers heard their cries, the sound of terror piercing the veil of night. They rushed towards the house, each step heavy with dread. As they reached the doorless entrance, they felt an oppressive force pushing against them, as if the house itself was resisting their presence. Taking a deep breath, they entered. The atmosphere was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant echoes of fear. They called out for the teenagers, their voices filled with a desperate hope that rang hollow in the dark. But as they stepped further inside, the whispers grew louder, wrapping around them like a shroud. They too felt watched, the sensation prickling at the back of their necks. Time seemed to stretch, the minutes dragging on as they searched. Finally, in a dimly lit room, they found the teenagers huddled together, trembling and pale. Relief washed over the villagers, but it was short-lived. The laughter returned, echoing through the halls, a chilling reminder that they were not alone. In a rush of adrenaline, the group turned to flee. They stumbled through the house, desperately seeking an exit, the walls seemingly shifting to keep them inside. The laughter grew louder, more frenzied, filling the air with a sense of impending doom. Finally, they burst through the doorless frame, tumbling into the night. Gasping for breath, they looked back at the house, now looming ominously against the moonlit sky. The laughter faded, replaced by a heavy silence. Yet, something remained, a lingering sensation of dread, as if the house was watching, waiting for its next victims. The Doorless House of Horrors stands still today, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks within. It draws the curious and the brave, seducing them with the promise of adventure, only to ensnare them in its web of despair. Many have entered, but few have returned unchanged. The stories of its haunting continue to swirl, whispered in hushed tones around campfires, a warning to those who seek thrills in the unknown. In the heart of the forest, the doorless house waits, its secrets buried within its walls. And as the night deepens, it beckons once more, an invitation to those who dare to uncover the horrors that lie within. So remember, dear listener, should you find yourself wandering near that foreboding place, heed the stories of those who came before. For the Doorless House of Horrors is not just a structure. It is a living entity, a guardian of darkness, waiting patiently for the next soul to wander too close, to step into the void, and to become part of its chilling legacy.